Hi everyone, Dead Battery here, and thank you for joining me on my channel. So as you can see, I am not in my office. I unfortunately had to fly back to the States for some emergency leave, but don't worry, everything is fine. Everything got situated out, and now I am just waiting to get a couple more things situated, and then I'm going to be able to fly back home. The video I had planned for this week was basically finished, but with everything else going on, I wasn't able to do the perfect touches to it. While I was here, I had a little bit of free time, so I did a little digging in the area. And in Lake Havasu, Arizona, there is a retro game and toy store as well as a bar that has video games and tons of pinball games. And I thought this was a great opportunity to show everybody out there what this area has to offer. So let's have a look at both these places I found. Let's interview the owners, and as a surprise, at the bar, there is a broken laser disc. So we are going to attempt to fix it while I'm here. And if we can't, at least we get to see what it looks like. So follow me along and let's go check these places out. When you first walk in, there are tons of Hot Wheels. Other side, he's got the pop figures, and he has got so many of them. They're really neat to look at. So I did have an opportunity to talk to Matt, the owner of the shop, and I decided to ask him some questions and why he decided to open up a collectibles store. His family and himself would go around town and they would go to the different collectible shops, and they really enjoyed that. Now, he is married with 2 kids and he's got 5 dogs, which I think is awesome and crazy. That must be a lot of stuff going on at the house at one time. So the shop was first opened in 2017, and at the time they were only open for 3 days a week. He worked a regular Monday through Friday job at a bank as a commercial lender, but then he would open the shop on noon on Friday and then work Friday through Sunday. He also said he did this because he wasn't too sure how successful the shop would be, which is understandable. But unfortunately, like a lot of business owners, COVID happened and they had to close down for a year. And they did reopen in 2021, and he decided to open it 5 days a week. And he also decided to leave the bank. So right now the shop is open Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 5. And then here's all his games. So he's got PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, he's got original PlayStation, NES, Sega, Super NES, Game Boy games, 64 games. He's got a couple systems here, all your Wii games. And he even has some laser discs down here. Another really cool thing about his store is he also is in communication with the other place we're going to check out, which is Barcadium. And every Monday they do laser disc movies. However, because it's football season, they are playing football right now on the TV instead. The name of the store is Flashback Toys and Collectables, and I did ask him why he decided on this. So originally when they opened, their main focus was on horror, and the shop was originally called Terror Toys. He said that after a year or so, they ended up having a lot of mixed non-horror inventory, and he decided that it might be a smart idea to change the name. He didn't want to kind of put himself in a corner where the name stopped people who weren't horror collectors from coming into the store. It can be a little expensive when you do change names and signs at stores, which is absolutely understandable. But when he reopened up, knowing that there could still be some supply chain issues, he decided to lean harder into the vintage stuff, and that new inventory was probably going to be pretty hard to get a hold of, as well as probably a little pricey. So he decided to stick with more of the vintage stuff. And that's when he decided to also go with the name Flashback. There were a couple other that he was going to choose from, but this one he felt fit the best. I did ask him if he had a favorite system or game or just a genre in general, because he does have video games there as well as all the collectibles. And he said he's not really a big gamer. He never felt like he was good at them and they didn't really hold his attention. He was never really into toys as a kid, but as he got older, he kind of got nostalgic and he wanted to buy stuff that he wanted as a kid. He did say that his favorite thing to collect is packaged 80s and 90s toys. And it's because the packaging is more appealing than what's on the inside of the package. The colors are really great and he likes the idea that something that hung up on the shelf when he was a kid still exists in its original packaging. He does have a Facebook page. I'll leave a link in the description below. But on his Facebook page, I did notice that they had a room. He showed a room of some of his collectibles. So I did ask him like how in common him and his wife have on stuff. So him and his wife are only a 1.5 year age difference, and this is absolutely adorable. They said that they had the same kind of childhood and they really love the weird and creepy collectibles, and they basically like the same stuff, but he does admit that his wife was more into games as a kid. And the cute thing is they do have like their little differences. So she really loves Polly Pockets and Trolls, and he said that he was into Mad Balls and 90s basketball. So that's a little bit about this store, and I think it's just a really awesome place, and I think the owner, Matt, is a very kind person. So if you're ever in the area, please check it out. It is awesome. Here is the bar, and it's basically set up with the bar in the front, and then all along the walls are all of these games. They have Mortal Kombat, Gauntlet, Dark Legacy, which I definitely played a lot of. They also have a Tekken game. Unfortunately, it is not working right now, so I did not get to play it. I did ask him what they do when machines go down, and they do have a partner, and he comes and fixes the machines, and I got to chat with him a little bit. What a fabulous guy. He is helping keep this place running. Their website does have their list of pinballs. They have CSI, Star Wars, Skee Ball. They also have a light gun game, and it is called Raising Storm. He's got 2 driver ones. One you sit down at, and this other one's just off-road and you stand at it. And on this side, there are pinball machines. He's got Junkyard, Party Zone, Dr. Dude, Cactus Canyon, Ghostbusters, Avengers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there's also a Godzilla one, and this one is really cool because you can have it play in either English or Japanese language. There's also a fishing pinball game. If you are a fan of pinball, they do have pinball tournaments. These machines are pretty neat. So basically there's an app that goes with them, and you can keep track of your scores so you can see how good you're doing. But if you live in the area, or if you see any of these pinball machines in your area, have a look, because apparently this is the new thing they're doing with some machines where you're able to track your own score. I think the places that I spent the most money was definitely Gauntlet, and then Godzilla game. The other game that I spent most of my time at was the Galaga tabletop. On the wall here, they have their shirts that are for sale. I bought the pinball one. They also have a lot of skateboards hanging up, and I really liked the Street Fighter ones. And then their TVs also play tons of retro games on them. So if you're ever in the area, go check this bar out, go play some pinball, let me know what your high score is. So the little fun thing we were going to decide to do was work on this Laserdisc, which I've never seen the inside of a Laserdisc or worked on one. So he did bring it to the bar so we could have a look at it, because most likely if the tray didn't open, it meant the rubber belt on the inside was probably broken. So we'd have to replace that. To take these apart, it was pretty easy. There were 6 screws total, 2 on each side and then 2 on the back. And then the top kind of like slid off and back. Now, after I took the top off, we decided to plug it in and give it a test because we wanted to see like the inner workings and if anything moved, and it opened. So I'm not too sure if the top wasn't on properly or if it was jammed a little bit, or maybe just us moving it made it work. After we got the top off, you could really see how dusty it is on the inside. So we are probably gonna dust it out a little bit. Unfortunately, we do not have any canned air with us, so we're just gonna kind of wipe everything down as best we can for right now. I did look up the manual for this, and I did see where the rubber belts were, and as you can see, this rubber belt looks like it's in good condition. I poked it a little bit to see, and it still seems like it's really good, so he's got that going for him. But this is pretty neat. I've never gotten to see the inside of a Laserdisc. I know it's just a giant CD player, but it's still really neat. This is not something that I would have ever thought I would work on and or see in general. Other than that, the inside is really neat. I was gonna try to take apart more, but there was no need to since it did work. But I really wanted you all to see just what it looks like on the inside. There was these little switches on the back of the Laserdisc, and you could turn them on and off, and he was explaining to me this is how you do, like if you want it to auto start or how you want it to play. So I did look up some history about Laserdisc just because it's not something I knew. And it was the first commercial optical disc storage medium. And it came out in 1978, a company called MCA DiscoVision. The Laserdisc was not fully digital, and it required the use of analog video signals. Interesting thing about the Laserdisc was it actually offered higher quality video and audio than your VHSs and your Betamax, but it just didn't end up being widespread. And they believe this is due to the higher cost of the player and that you couldn't record TV programs. However, this format was actually a lot more popular in Japan. With a lot of older systems, we had a spider friend at some points. He did bring me out a Laserdisc so that I could see it, and he picked The Fifth Element, which is a fabulous one to have. Never seen one of these before. This is pretty neat. It's literally like a giant CD. He said that how it works is each side could hold an hour. So you wouldn't want the story to end at just any point, so they would always stop the first side with kind of a cliffhanger and then tell you to flip the disc over. Now, The Fifth Element did have 2 discs, so there were 4 sides total, but it was also all the extra. Okay, go ahead and hit the button. Should we do it like? So what do you guys think? These places are definitely unique for this area. From my understanding, this is more of a snowbird area, so a lot of people will come here during the cold time. So right now it's not really their busy season, but there's still a lot of activity going on in this area. And it does seem like there's a little group of people who are definitely a fan of retro gaming and playing pinball. I know this is a little uncommon from my normal videos, but I just love seeing people opening up something or doing something that they enjoy and sharing it with their community. Everybody here has been really great. It's definitely made the time go by a lot smoother. As much as it was a quick trip here and nothing was planned, I'm happy that I was able to find something unique in an area that I possibly would have never looked at. Both the places, I'll leave links in the description below so you can check them out yourself. If you ever end up in the area, please let me know and let me know what you think about these spots. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye!